So what you get in the box is you get some mounting brackets. I'll open those in a minute. Get the fan, mounting bracket, the controller with temperature sensor, and some screws, some nuts, some bolts, wire, crimpable ends for the wires, and I think a fuse. I think this is a fuse, and a sticker. That's about 10 horsepower. You get some troubleshooting tips here, and you also get some instructions, which is exactly the same as the online PDF. So even if you want to re-download the instructions because you already have the fan or whatever, these are online. So from the instructions that I've seen, you get a bottom bracket and maybe a top bracket, I guess. So I'm guessing those larger brackets right here are the bottom and top, possibly. And if I can get these, great, really pack these in here. And I guess these will be side brackets. I don't really know yet, but in the video we will. I think it's aluminum. We'll be putting it together, so we're gonna find out. The fan, in case you haven't seen any reviews or whatever, this is the big fan they got, meant for 5 liters and above. Apparently S blade to allow it to be quieter, and there's an outer ring connecting all the blades together for durability. There's a seal, and obviously 2 wires for a motor. The seal's pretty cool, and obviously, as you can see, it comes with a shroud. So it's a little bit more expensive of a fan, but it should be a higher quality. Hopefully I get what I pay for, but I'll let you know either way. So one of the reasons I'm getting an electric fan is a couple, well, mainly 2 reasons. One, they cool faster, they cool better. Can't use this extension on here, it's too long. And I live in a really hot environment, so electric fan will be better in that way, that it'll cool better, cool faster. It's also better for your air conditioning, it'll cool that a little bit better. And I don't know if you notice, if you've watched my videos before, I don't have a fan shroud right now, and the reason for that is my awesome 2-piece fan shroud blew up. Didn't really blow up, but the fan had nicked a piece of it, and I guess after it got a piece of it, it just continued to hit it, and for like a day I had this weird sound. I wasn't really sure what it was. It was kind of subtle, really only happened in first gear, so I thought, oh crap, is it my transmission? Well, no, it's not. It was my fan shroud breaking into like pieces. Here, I'll show you. So that's what's left of my fan shroud. It is the original. So I figured since that broke, I need to get a new fan shroud, but since I was going to get a new fan shroud, well, I might as well just get an electric one. Okay. Everything's really hot right now because I drove my truck. So right now I'm loosening the fan. You want to loosen the fan with the belt still on, that way it provides that drag that you need to loosen it without having 2 people, one holding it and all that crap. So once I get these loose, I'm not going to take them out. I'm going to go ahead and loosen up my power steering pump, loosen that belt, and take off the belt because I don't want any added pressure on that pulley while the bolts are out. I will be putting the bolts back in, but I'll be getting shorter bolts and taking out that spacer. I'll just need a pulley, not the fan or the spacer, so you'll see that. So if my bolts are the original, my fan bolts are 1/2 inch, if that's helpful. Let's see, yeah, 1/2 inch. And so you don't have to look for the right socket. And the 2 bolts going into my power steering pump. The one that actually tightens is 5/8. They're actually both 5/8. So the tightening bolt on the bottom is 5/8, and the one going in to support the whole thing is 5/8. That way you don't have to look for a socket, you just know. Alright, so for me, that's loose enough. I know it doesn't look like much, but that takes off tension. It's going to have to be enough because my oil pressure sensor is kind of getting in the way. I'll probably eventually move that, but for now, everything should be fine like that, maybe. Because I don't have to take that pulley off, so we'll see. Anyway, moving on. That is the wrong socket. You really want to do this when your car isn't hot. When the fan shroud broke, it kind of messed up my pulley. So I had painted this stuff. And see if I can see it there. So one of the pieces was laying on here, and it really kind of polished the paint right off. But it's alright, I can paint that at any time, it's not a big deal. Don't have a show truck or anything, so it'll be alright. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and secure that pulley down and then retighten the belt, because I'm fairly certain I can reconnect that right now, because electric fan's just going to go in between all that. So the bolts that came out, fairly long bolts, and you don't need those anymore. You just need the pulley because that's your water pump behind there. These are 5/16 by 24 thread count. So I'm going to use 5/16 by 24 thread count, and it's only 3/4 inch in length. I'm going to use that with some washers and a lock nut. That way it doesn't come off and it's secure. But that's what you're looking for. 5/16 by 24 thread count. It's pretty fine. And then 3/4 inch length is almost perfect to go all the way through the water pump, where the water pump meets the pulley, but not through that. So I'm going to use a mirror to line the holes. So to protect both surfaces of the bolt and the pulley, I'm going to do washer, lock washer, washer. And the new bolts are going to be well, my new bolts are 1/2 inch, so I guess I don't really need to tell you the size of your new bolts. Mine are 1/2 inch still. The bolt head, not the size of the bolt, sorry. Alright, now I'm going to tighten it down. Tighten down my power steering pump to tighten the belt, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so tighten on the pulley, new bolts and all that. Tighten down the power steering pump. Tighten the belt, of course, while I was doing that. So I'm not 100% on what radiator I have. If you know, put it in that comment, and then I'll put it in the description after I just verify, just to make sure. And maybe I'll do some research and try to figure it out. So I don't know exactly which radiator this is, but it looks like this. So if yours looks like this, it's probably pretty close to being the same. Maybe, I don't know. Don't know which one I got. Anyway, just give you a good look at it so you know if you buy this product it'll work for your radiator. Because these trucks pretty much the same, but you never know, something might have got switched, or if you have a 250 or a Bronco, you know, whatever. Alright, so let's go see how this fits. Line up where we're going to put our mounts. So this fan comes with a little warning. Just says fan might start by itself. I'm going to leave that on just because, and I'm going to put that at the top because I feel like it. Alright, so the fan's really easy to get in here without taking off any hoses. So I did take measurements beforehand. This was closest to it, so I'm just going to kind of center it. So what I'm going to have to do for mine is use these brackets for the sides. I don't care what orientation they designed it to be in. I read somewhere, I think, I don't know, it might have been from their website, that this is designed for like 79 through 96 Mustang. I'm not 100% don't quote me on that. But regardless, I'm going to use both of these for the sides. That way it won't twist. I was thinking about using 2 of these for the sides, but it's only like a single bolt on each side and it would kind of twist or sag or whatever. So I'm just going to use these, but in order to use these, it bolts on. It's going to bolt on kind of like that. Like this is the radiator, this will be the fan. I'm going to have to put in some washers right here in between the fan to kind of space it out. And then after I do that, maybe a 1/4 inch or so on each side, it will match up to this rail on the side of the radiator. Right here, there's a rail, it has like 4 holes in it already. I'll be using the 2 innermost holes if that'll fit. If not, I'll just drill new holes. It's all aluminum, by the way. It's really nice. Side note, the screws they give you that bolt into the radiator shroud, they're metric, so they're M6 by 1. I'm gonna need longer ones, and I have longer ones, but just in case you want to go out and purchase one, some more screws before you take your engine apart, M6 by 1. Alright, so I'll show you what I did real quick. So you see the marks there and there. So basically I marked this, I lined it, and then I marked it where I wanted it. Then I'm going to drill these holes first, and then I'm going to put a bolt in. That way I can help support it while I do the other side. I want it to be pretty on point. Alright, now that I have one side just hung, I'm going to mark the other side. So how I'm drilling these, I'm going to use 3 drill bits, small, medium, and large. The large one being the size you need for the bolt to go through. And I'm just doing that because it's a little bit easier. Once you get the pilot holes, everything kind of lines up and everything goes through really easy after that. I'm going to be using oil as well to lubricate. You don't have to have your drill bit completely straight through these because you're not threading them or anything. Just, you know, get them fairly straight and then that's it. Using oil allows your drill bit to stay sharp. Pilot holes is the hardest one. Clean up the metal fragments. That way they don't get, you know, caught up anywhere else, or, you know, shouldn't create a problem for something else, but you never know. I'm gonna be thorough. So now I'm gonna bolt it up. I'm actually gonna drill a hole through the shroud for the wires to keep them away from the heat of the radiator. I'm gonna use some double-sided tape foam stuff. I'm gonna put it right here as a really nice flat clean surface, up high enough I can get it, you know, in case I could go through water or whatever. So for the temperature sensor, they said to push it through your radiator fins near your inlet hose, so that'd be like your return hose. There's probably a better way of doing this, but for now I'm going to do this because I want to keep the rest of the wire out of the heat, I guess, and I'll just tape it to the front. I can't really bend it too much because I don't want it to break. So that'll keep it out of the way. So now, at this point, you once you get it mounted and all that good stuff, I'm going to finish putting in the bottom bolts because I don't think I need to take it off anymore. Once you get it mounted and stuff like that the way you want it, you might want to disconnect your battery because it's electrical work. It's up to you, don't care what you do, but I'm going to disconnect my battery. Put this here as a safety net just in case the foam comes unsticky. So here's how much room I have on the sides and the bottom. So I'm not currently using the thermostat option. It works, but I'm just not using it. I just don't really like how it works. You do have an option for a manual switch. I'm not going to go over that because the instructions are really straightforward about the wiring. Just remember, when you wire the switch, one end goes to the module, the other end actually goes to positive.